Hey guys, how's it going? This is Meghna from Asha24.
And this is Victor.
Hey Victor, so let's get started with MuleSoft tutorial. What exactly is MuleSoft, Victor?
Well, Mule is a lightweight enterprise service bus with its integration framework provided by MuleSoft. The platform is Java-based but can connect between any other platforms and applications such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and many more.
Wow, it sounds like it can connect to pretty much anything. I'm really excited to see how this works. Let's get started, shall we?
Sure, let me jump into that. So let's get started to create a first application. So this is the welcome page. I'm just going to close it off. Then you're going to create a file, new Mule project. Over here, you're going to type what's your project name first. All right. So I'm going to type MuleSoft free tutorial. So you might be hearing the typing noise. It's because of the keyboard. Okay. All right. So now get into this is the project name. So you can define any project you want. And now you can see, as Meghna highlighted, you can deploy into the different type of cloud hubs. So it can be cloud hub or it can be on-prem. So what cloud hub means, it's provided by the MuleSoft, so which runs pretty much on top of the AWS. I hope you guys heard of the AWS, which is pretty much booming nowadays in the market. So they deploy all the servers and containers on AWS, and they allow you to deploy. So it depends on the enterprise requirement. You can either opt for cloud hub, which is a bit of expensive. Otherwise, you can go for on-prem. You can just run on-premise. All right. So that's a bit of an advanced concept, I would say. So as of now, I will give you more insight around how you can create an application. Alright, then click next. Over here you can see the JDK or the Java version. So I have installed 1.8, so which is the mandatory prerequisites for this Mule Studio. So you can use 1.7 as well, which is backward compatible. So then you can click finish. That just creates a project for you. There you go. I just created one test project. I'm just going to close it off. So as you can see now, this is the palette where you do your real-time work. I mean, like all the application work. All right. So I'm just going to clear off this one. So as you can see, as Meghna was saying, MuleSoft got literally a whole bunch of connectors. You can connect to anything. You name it, they have a connector. Just to give you a few examples, just like Google Contacts, right? So you can import all your Google Contacts and do any manipulation you want, or if you want to push it to any of the system. Database, you can connect to almost any of the database. They have FTP, file, generic connectors. You have JMS, Jetty, MongoDB, Magento. Then they got like SFTP. I mean, like they got a whole bunch of connectors like Salesforce. If you don't find something that is not available, so what people do is normally they connect using a web service call. All right, so it can be again REST or it can be SOAP. So it really depends on your requirement. All right. So and they have a whole bunch of functionalities like scopes, like for each, all the like algorithm function, like mathematical functions that you use normally on your IDEs. All right. So as of now, easiest way to, as we're gonna doing a sample application, we're not gonna deep dive into any of the complex connectors. We're going to start with a simple HTTP, right? We all know HTTP or HTTPS, right? So you connect, you send a request to Google, or you open up your Facebook page. That's when the HTTP comes. So HTTPS comes actually nowadays. So if you just type HTTP right over here, that brings up your connector. So all you need to do is drag and drop. See, it's that easy. You just drag and drop, and that's it. So now you can see now why there's a red mark over here. So what it means is when you drag and drop a connector, it needs to be configured so that where it needs to connect to. It's as simple as that. Like when you are typing on Google or you go to a browser, you need to know where you want to connect to, right? So if you want to go to Google, you type google.com, hit enter, that takes you to google.com. So similarly, you need to define your listener configuration over here, where you want to, like what your configuration, where you need to connect to, all right? It's pretty easy as of now. So I would say the display name, I just leave as HTTP. But if you want to connect to, let's say, on your own system, all right, let's say you have a HTTP Salesforce system, so you want to name it as Salesforce connector, Salesforce HTTP connector. That makes it like a complete sentence. Or also it is a best developers practice, I would say, to give proper naming convention according to your organization, or just follow the developers guide. All right, so I'm just gonna give local host because I'm just connecting to my local host. All right, and then you go to add configuration right over here. That brings up a new screen. Over here there is a called port number. It's like 8081, and you are allowing all the traffic. All right, so 0000, which means you are allowing all the traffic. Over here you can also specify like particular host. If you're not opening up your ports to all of the internet, if you have something like private IP, you can specify the name, so it only allows the traffic only from those IP and the port numbers. Also, you can configure HTTPS. So as we're not going to cover HTTPS as of now, it needs a bit of more technical information around it. So you're going to cover up only HTTP. Again, base path you can specify. You're not specifying the base path. If you come down, you'll see a few more options. You can skip it because it's HTTP. And over here, one of the important aspect is timeout. So like if you send a request, how much time you want to wait for that request to get a response back. All right, so this is default again 30,000 milliseconds, but if you want to increase it, or you can decrease it based on your which end applications you want to connect to. All right, so I'm gonna just click OK. So once you do it, it just turns green, as you can see. Okay, the error must be gone away now. Okay, as you can see, it's all green now. All right, so now coming to the path. So path, which means, let's say if you're going to facebook.com, that's your base URL. But if you go to your messenger, right, so it becomes facebook.com/messenger. So similarly, if you want to allow directly to your path, you can do that. But if you want to something customized, let's say get mule request. So this is how you customize your path. All right, so now it's done. So now you might be wondering, so what's next? So we want to set something, right? I mean, like we get a request, we want to send a response back. So we need to set a payload, which is like pretty much like a variable assignment. So if you drag and drop a payload, it's that easy. So over here, what you can do is like just specify welcome, not hello world. You can say hello world, but yeah, I'll just say welcome to the MuleSoft tutorial. All right, so this is the display message basically, which is going to show when you send a request, you get this response back. All right, so set payload again over here, but you can name it. I mean, like if you want to name, let's say I'm just naming as MuleSoft tutorial again, MuleSoft tutorial. All right, so if you're setting a payload, for an example, you're getting a response from a Twitter feed, or you are getting from a Facebook post. So you can say, I'm setting a payload for the Facebook post. All right, so that's how the naming convention pretty much works. I believe you guys are aware about that. So now that's all done and dusted. Now you might be wondering, okay, I want to know how these flows really work in runtime. So how do you know that how it's working in the runtime? You have all designed your application. So how do you know, like once you deploy it, how do you know how the flow has been working behind the scene? So for that, they have a really cool feature called logger. So it's pretty much like J4 logger. They use in behind the scene J4 logging mechanism. So you can just drag and drop the logger right over here. So what it does, it logs all your information, how the requests have been going through. All right. So if you click on the log, it displays the name. I'll just leave it on default name. But if you want to change, you can change again. If you have more applications, you can define the name. All right. So the logging levels by default is on default info level. But if you want to debug more, if you come across sometimes your application is running into error, you want to debug on your development environment, you can set the debug level to error or debug. So the more you increase, you get more number of more information, more trace on your logs. All right, but just be aware, it dumps a whole lot of data into your files. So make sure you're not putting these things in production, and if you are doing it, you need it immediately. You need to ensure that all your file systems are available. All right, just to avoid any surprise. So now you're all ready to go in terms of the application is ready. So you can just save it right over here. Then you can just deploy. So you can right click on it, go to the run as Mule application. So what that will do is like now deploy the application to the local Mule ESP, because I have installed on my local machine, so it deploys to a local system. But if you are running on Cloud Hub or you're on-prem, so you can just define your connection parameters and you can just deploy it over there. As I'm doing it for the first time, it takes me a while to load up all the, like warm up the server and deploy the application. As you can see, it's deployed. It's quite fast because everything is inbuilt on a inbuilt JVM. It loads up quite easily. So, and that's probably one of the advantage of using Mule ESB, which is lightweight comparative to any other integration platforms available in the market. All right. So now we are all deployed to the application. We are ready to see how we can how it really works to test the application. All right. So you guys excited to see? So let's go to localhost. What the parameter did I set it here? Let's go back. Okay, it's mule get request. Okay. So if you go back to the screen over here, localhost, put the path for here, remember this one. There you go. Welcome to MuleSoft tutorial. So that's the output we got, right? So now you might be wondering, okay, so what is the log now? All right, so go back to the MuleSoft Anypoint Studio again, go to the console. There you go. Here's the log. So as you can see, these are the payload. This is the MuleSoft free tutorial. This is the listener, and this is when you got the request. And this is our like the browser which I is using, right? I was using a Chrome browser, 64-bit. So this is the outbound scope property. So you can play around with all these things if you are using some advanced mechanism to capture some information. So you can play around with all these things. All right. So that's it, guys, from my side. So I hope you liked the video and learn how you can create your MuleSoft application. Now I'm gonna hand over to Meghna, so she will wind it up from there.
Hot damn, Victor. Gotta be the mule's mule to mule it out now. Now guys, it's your turn. What are your views on MuleSoft? Do you want to be MuleSoft's mule too? I would really love to hear from you. Do let me know what you feel by leaving a comment below, and thanks for watching. Good day.